Well, good morning, everyone. This is Keith with Positively Osceola, and welcome to another one of our Coffee Talk Lives. But as I've said, not just another one. This is with Mr. Charlie Draper of Draper Law Office. How you doing today?
Good, good.
Lots of sunshine, lots of cool breeze.
This is what it's all about.
I get why everybody moves down here. I mean, I know it freaks out some people saying it out loud, but it's
pre-summer.
This is beautiful.
It is.
I guess the weekend is going to get a little
warm.
Yeah, we're talking 89, and then that crazy 90 word came up, but I refuse to believe it.
I think that wherever you live, you can complain about something.
Truth.
All in all, I wouldn't want to live any other place. I've tried Buffalo, New York. Go Bills.
Yeah,
But I like the environment here. I like the people here. And it's a great community we live in.
And everybody loves you. I will tell you honestly, right now, I am fighting the feeling that I need to talk about Josh Allen and the Bills, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to stay away from that stuff right now because it is not even preseason, so we can't get too wrapped up in all the drafting nonsense. So anyway, so yesterday we were going to talk about something that we haven't spoken about together, and I know we've had the opportunity to speak about a bunch of different things, but yesterday was definitely a challenge for a lot of folks in driving to where they were trying to go. There were just a number of different crashes, basically, on a lot of the different roadways, and it caused folks to really enjoy thoroughly driving in Osceola County. And so I think it's easy. I think it's easy just to go, gosh, I'm going to jump on, no pun intended, the train, or pun intended, and just get negative about it. I know the county's working to get this stuff done. I know the state's working to get these things fixed as best they can, and I know that people want to live here where we are because it is beautiful here. And so I don't think we need to get down to that again. But what I'd love to talk about is, and we don't often talk about the personal injury side of what your practice is about, and that's because that's not what really our conversations are about, right? Our conversations are about solutions. You've got a lot of wisdom and a lot of experience, and there's a lot of train right there. So it'll be fine. That's a long one. That's not a commuter rail. Hopefully you're enjoying it as much as we are, people. But I really want to talk about that. We talk a lot about the risks and the responsibility that come with a very populated area when it comes to driving, and we can talk about that today. And I also want to talk about, again, if you don't mind, talk about how uninsured motorist is a wise move, if at all possible, for folks to consider, and why. But I also want to talk about what happens, honestly, what happens if you or your family members or a friend is involved, unfortunately, in an accident. How can you help them? Because it's a big deal, right? So I don't know how to start that off other than how I just did. But do me a favor, tell us a little bit about your practice and obviously since 1984.
Okay. So even before 1984,
gotcha.
I graduated from law school in 1974, I think. Okay. In Buffalo, go Bills.
Yes.
And I practiced up there with a large firm from 74 to 84. There I did maybe 90% insurance defense work.
Gotcha.
And 10% plaintiff's work. And in 84, when my wife and I moved to Kissimmee, I switched, and I do nothing but personal injury exclusively. Now, let me clarify that, because personal injury is a large spectrum.
Right.
It covers, products liability, workers' comp, Social Security, disability, auto accidents, slip and falls, medical malpractice, and the list goes on.
Right.
Okay. I only handle automobile accidents and slip and falls, trip and falls, occasional dog bites, but 90% of our practice is related, of my practice, is related to automobile accidents.
Right.
My partner's, she specializes in family law. She's been doing it over 30 years. And so that's what she specializes
And that's
in.
Linda, right?
Linda
Great.
Krasinski. So what I see is surprising, but nonetheless is important to share with your audience. And that is the importance of uninsured motorist coverage, because I don't know whether you all know it, but an individual can legally put a vehicle on the road in Florida with only two types of coverage. One is property damage liability of $10,000. So if you cause an accident, your insurance company will pay the other person's property damage, the damage to their vehicle, up to $10,000. So let's hope it's not a Lexus or a high-end vehicle.
Right.
Okay. And the other type of coverage is PIP, personal injury protection. That's no-fault coverage. And that protects the driver and any passengers in his vehicles. It doesn't protect the innocent party involved in a lawsuit. And so we see that, particularly in the economy that we live. I mean, budgets are tight, and so people are looking for ways to shave that budget down. And I guess one of the easiest way they think is, well, we'll get bare minimum insurance on our automobiles.
Right.
And the problem with that is, if you live in a community where accidents are frequent, such as Osceola County, and probably Central Florida,
daily,
and you're involved in an accident and you're injured, or a family member is injured, and you're in an accident with a vehicle that has the bare minimum coverage, then you're not going to get compensated for your injuries, okay? Unless you carry uninsured motorist coverage. What I'm seeing, the other day, I'm driving home and I see, literally, I swear, 8 to 10 vehicles in a median in South John Young Parkway, just before Pleasant Hill Road. And I'm thinking, who caused this accident, and is there going to be enough coverage for all these vehicles?
Yeah, right.
You know, because if the person who caused that accident has the bare minimum, 10,000 property damage, well, I don't know where the other 7 vehicles are going to get paid.
Yeah, right.
You know, and if someone is injured and they don't carry uninsured motorist coverage, there's not enough to go around. Another example that I've heard about from marketers who are seeing injury claims reduced is that a lot of people who are involved in accidents and are here illegally or undocumented, they don't call the police.
Yeah.
They leave the scene because they don't want to be caught and deported. So I can't emphasize enough the importance of carrying uninsured motorist coverage, even if it's only 10-20, okay?
Right.
Meaning 10,000 per person, but not more than 20,000 per accident. Because, Keith, you know as well as I do, when you drive from your home in east of St. Cloud to Kissimmee, every day there's multiple accidents. You can't avoid it. You've got people who are distracted. You got people who are putting makeup on. No offense to the women. You've got people who are in a hurry. You know, and it's just it's unavoidable.
Right.
Really, it's unavoidable.
But I think the challenge, Charlie, I mean, I know you and I have spoken about this before. I think the challenge is, if you're the person in the family, or you're yourself, you're just pursuing insurance for yourself, and it seems like you're doing it for, like, a lot of times it's a 6-month policy and you negotiated it for the year or whatever, and but it seems like it comes around, monthly, which it's not particularly when you're renegotiating. But it can be expensive, and like you've said, it's like you're looking at, okay, where am I spending this finite amount of money where am I going to allocate it? I've got to eat. My family's got to eat. I've got education. I've got supplies. I've got utilities and mortgages or rents. What do I do to break that down?
Yeah.
But it is a necessity in most cases. I think sometimes you see a lot of advertisements for like now that you think would be a hazard on the road right there. You see a lot of advertisements, Charlie. Obviously, personal injury side, right?
Right.
And saying, I'm going to get you $8 bazillion, and that is something that is related to making sure the coverage is there, correct?
Exactly.
That's not happening if there's no insurance coverage.
If you happen to be involved in an accident that has that there's no bodily injury coverage on the at-fault vehicle,
Right.
and the other party is a Elon Musk, or a Donald Trump, or
Right.
you can sue the individual,
Right.
but chances of collecting, unless they're very wealthy, you're not going to get paid, and you won't find an attorney
That takes the case.
that takes the case,
Right.
because the attorney gets a third of any recovery. If there's no recovery, there's no fee.
Yeah, right.
And realistically, the chances of collecting against someone who doesn't have bodily injury coverage is not very good.
Right.
So
the case doesn't get picked up. You're not hearing that in the commercials, by the way.
Yeah.
You're not. So that's one of those things, and we've said it before, that it seems to be obvious, right? I talk to my son about that all the time. And look, you think I've done it. I know when I was younger, I'd think, my gosh, the chance of me really having an accident,
Right.
It didn't happen last year. I'm going to renew this.
Yeah.
It's probably not going to happen this year. Should I really incur the damage financially?
Right.
And the answer is, we live in Central Florida. We live in Osceola County, and it is a busy place to drive. And like you said, you see it on the road every day. And I worry. I've had a friend that, and I mentioned this to you before, I have a very good friend that was and he still is in the music business and production business, and was in a terrible accident, not his fault. The other driver had no insurance. Everything came to him. He still lives that problem today.
He had no uninsured motorist.
Did not have uninsured motorists, and because of the same thing I would discuss, which is, if you don't have that money, it seems like I'm going to waste that money.
Right.
I'm just going to opt out and keep my fingers crossed. But I think the finger crossed thing doesn't work all the time.
No.
I'm just thinking.
And two other points I'd like to make.
Sure.
A lot of times, and I think you've brought this up in previous discussions, a lot of times, you buy insurance like from an insurance company that just you're online, and no one's explaining to you the importance of carrying this, right? They're just saying, click here, click here, click here. And so you really are not being educated. So if you choose, I would recommend contacting an insurance broker. An insurance broker is obviously very educated and will do the shopping around and say, for the best dollar, this is for you.
Right.
This is best for you and your family. Another thing is, let's say, hypothetically, you want to add uninsured motorist coverage to your policy, and it, say 10/20, and it's for a 6-month period, right? So let's say it costs you $60 for that 6-month period for uninsured motorist coverage. Well, that's really only $10 a month to protect you and your family against a serious accident. So that's what I would recommend. Talk to an insurance broker, have them shop around for you, because it's not. It can be frustrating, for an individual to do it. I know the thought of me, shopping around and comparing, say, even 5 or 6 different insurance companies, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to rely on someone who specializes in that.
Sure. And I understand what you're saying about the doing it online. It is, for me, it is a way to expedite.
Right.
It is not how I handle everything. I've got a friend that's a great broker, and I go that direction usually. But sometimes there are times when I'm needing to do something efficiently, excuse me, effectively, and I'll go that online source. And you're right, it is one click, and it's going to change everything, and you're not going to have that uninsured motorist. So I appreciate you bringing it up again today. Do me a favor, just again, how does somebody get in touch with you and your team over there? Because I think sometimes we don't emphasize how they can reach you. You've been doing this for a long time. You specifically are in the personal injury side, and
Right.
family law side, and that resonates with a lot of folks. So why don't you tell us how does anybody get a hold of you in the most efficient way?
So we're located in Kissimmee, right across the street from the old courthouse at 705 Emmett Street. You can either walk in and set an appointment or visit with us. You can reach us by phone, 407-846-0075, or go to our website, Draper at draperlaw.com.
Yep.
We get a lot of calls from people who have legal problems in other areas.
Sure.
Okay, and that we don't handle, and we have a list of attorneys that we feel confident that are good attorneys for that particular area. We just don't handle it, and so even if you call with a practice area that we don't handle, we'd be more than happy to refer you to someone. Now, we don't know everyone who practices every type of law, but we have a good collection of attorneys that we refer. We get nothing out of it, okay, other than knowing that the person who called is going to be in good hands,
Right.
and that's the most important thing.
Well, that individual that just cut off somebody else that drove by, I think makes the case of our conversation today. I'm not sure one. I think maybe a criminal law attorney would be right just for that guy right there. But point well made right there. A little dot at the end of the sentence. So in all seriousness, we appreciate you. I count this as a blessing to be able to sit down and talk to you. You're a busy man. So on this beautiful day, under this beautiful oak tree, with a couple cups of coffee and some friendship, we're able to talk about all this stuff. So I do appreciate your time very much.
Well, thank you for having me. I always enjoy, talking with you and the public about, interesting topics and practical topics.
I think when folks are younger, there's a lot of pressure. They're trying to line themselves up for life and family guidance, and I think this is something that is one of those decisions where they go, gosh, I think that we'll be okay not doing that.
Right.
I am insured, but that's really that doesn't suffice. So I appreciate you bringing the
Well,
the
it's
wisdom.
an important topic, and one that should be taken seriously, because it not only affects you, but it affects your family.
Yeah.
And that's important.
Well, we'll end with that. That's good. Again, I appreciate your time. Certainly, DraperLawOffice.com, great resource for folks to look at what you're doing and what they can count on when it comes to representation. And it's kind of a partnership with attorneys, really, I find.
Right.
You're working together on a cause,
We do.
It's a good thing. All right, well, we appreciate your time again, Charlie.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Again, this is Keith with Positively Osceola here, along with Charlie Draper from Draper Law Office at Susanna's Café. You gotta love this place. Great service, great food, great coffee. Together making a positive difference in and around Osceola County. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.